Questions?
Play us a song.
That's not a question. That's a demand.
That's an order.
Play us a song.
Come to a gig.
Yeah.
We're on tour in October.
Well, I'm not here in October.
Oh, all right. Well,
We're
we'll come
right
back.
now. Cocky. Get out. I think
Since you've
want
asked
to
so
make
much,
sure.
I can't
Hello.
play the thing.
Yeah. For your album, where did you get your inspiration from? Was it?
Cool. I don't know. There's kind of from lots of different areas. Lyrically, it was kind of a lot about actually the time when myself and Aaron lived in America, in Indiana, and we went over on scholarships to play football. We'd kind of blagged it. Stop me if you've heard this story. I've heard it loads. But yeah, so we were in America for a year, and we kind of
Stop.
Yeah,
I've heard it.
good.
Yeah, loads.
Told you to stop me earlier than that.
Yeah.
No, and we failed and things went wrong. We weren't playing. We were rubbish at football, and we kind of almost got sent back in a way. But we came back with our tails. So that was one of the kind of coming to terms with us as human beings and realising that you're not always going to be succeeding. You're not always going to be the best at things. So there's a lot of things on the album about coming to terms with myself as a human and us as failing adults. Musically, there's just, you're kind of inspired by everything, but
Yeah.
we always one of us would write a song, and then it was basically down to the song. The best song kind of was king.
The kind of inspiration when we started out, we just, because we all had kind of different musical backgrounds. When I moved to London, and I met these guys, and they played me a lot of CDs and bands I hadn't heard about, and that made quite a big difference, because I was a bit of a jazz fiend before.
You'll grow
I
out
couldn't
of it.
play jazz, but I wanted to. But anyways, it made a massive impact on me, just coming to London and get this massive influence of different bands I'd never heard about, and we had a kind of a quite geeky. We had like a CD sharing club,
Book club,
stamp.
wife swapping,
Yeah,
and so the whole
yeah,
shebang.
that was the best one.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of, I think it's quite good. Well, it depends. Inspirationally speaking, that can't be a word. But just looking at even what you feel the industry's doing and being reactionary, I don't think is always a bad thing. Because it's that trouble. If you're jumping on a bandwagon, if you like a band that's around now to sound like them, you'll always be one step behind. You'll never be doing as good a job as them. And it was tough. That's what I always felt took us 10 years, I think, was to find our own sound. Because before we were in bands, we grew up near Reading, and so the internet wasn't around so much. So you're feeding off whatever the mainstream's thrown at you, and you're just coming up with second-hand Jamiroquai Oasis goods, and it's just nothing's sounding fresh or original, and that's really as well what the industry wants. And for us, we just wanted to. A lot of it's bands taking themselves very seriously. They've got this new term I heard of at the weekend called landfill indie, and a lot of guys hiding behind fringes and sunglasses indoors, and all their videos are just performance videos, and there's no. I don't know. There wasn't anything to. I feel like people can hide behind the sex, drugs, and rock and roll kind of myth, and you wanted it to have your own voice, and I think it's for us that's what then we wanted to react against and have videos that said more and were more interesting and colourful, and that for us that's what we wanted, and so that's maybe not a bad way of thinking. And even musically, like we had pop music as well. Everything that was in the charts was so banal. Everything was very. It was throwaway, disposable, just about boy meets girl and dancing, and we wanted to say something that was right to us and about kind of how we felt at the time and sort of fears about the future and still trying to be positive. I think if you're in a band, you have to be an optimist.
I think we were reacting quite a lot to at the time when we were, especially down here and working. Bands who were around were Libertines and Transferdinand and good bands, but then all the bands that came in their backwater and played around here in East London, it was just a lot of loud guitars and a lot of swagger, and I think that's something we really reacted against. We couldn't really find ourselves. We didn't feel where we belonged in this scene, like the kind of music we were doing. We didn't feel like we belonged here. I guess that's the thing, because in summer we just did this music that wasn't too fashionable maybe at the time, but we were really lucky because it's a lot to do with luck as well, that the kind of music we did, we were developing, kind of came into fashion like 2 years after we started or something.
Mm.